Very few Malaysians have ever sailed around the world.
I researched a bit. I found out only the current Sultan of Selangor and Dato' Azhar had done it. So they're called circumnavigators. So only two.
He became the first Malaysian to sail east to west through the treacherous waters of the Cape of Good Hope at the Mozambique Channel, routes many sailors refuse to take.
But this portion that I'm going to be sailing is a treacherous bit of sea, especially between Mozambique along the Madagascar Channel or the Mozambique Channel all the way around to Cape Town.
People doubted him. Some thought he was reckless. Others said he wouldn't make it.
Before leaving, you have so much negativity around you. People all telling you that it cannot be done. Everything you could possibly imagine was being told to me. And that actually strengthened my resolve to make sure I can prove them wrong.
And then, 2.5 years later, after completing his mission, he sailed back into the yacht club in Port Klang to an overwhelming welcome. But the real story isn't about fame. It's about what the journey did to him.
There was an event that occurred at night when I had 5 storms, and eventually at one point I thought I would die.
Coming back in one piece, the message is clear.
He chose to keep me alive. And why did he choose to keep me alive? Because now I know I have to give back to society. Society needs to hear that life is not about all these things that we are looking at, material stuff.
Join me, Kacang Kevin, on this episode of Herald Voices, where I speak with Malaysian circumnavigator Fabian Fernandez about courage, doubt, and survival, and the message he now carries for the world. Now let's get straight into it. Fabian, early in your career, you were a marine engineer. Was the sea always part of your ambition? When you were young, what did you dream of becoming?
If you don't come from a well-to-do family, back 30, 40 years ago, okay, now we are talking about 40, let's say 40 years ago, your opportunities were very limited in terms of where you could study. You had only the normal government universities and rather pricey private colleges, which only would either offer twinning or some form of a localized element to do, like a foundation or something. So there was never anything that could send you to get a degree program other than the government public universities. So my initial one was to become a pilot, but that didn't work out because I started to wear glasses, so that failed. After that, I said I would want to become an engineer. Didn't say what kind of an engineer. I said I like engineering. Okay, but then in Form 5, my results was okay, but I didn't have a credit in Bahasa. But eventually I got it back because after they remarked the paper, I got it back. But what happened was I was very frustrated again. So I said, no, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go back and do arts and I want to go and do law. At that point, my brother was in the university, elder brother was in the university, and my dad, I knew, could not afford. If we both went into the university just 2 years apart, not possible for him to be able to pay for my elder brother and myself in the university at the same time, even for public university. So my friend told me, hey, why don't you join this course in marine engineering where you get sponsored by a shipping company and they basically give you a job and you stay with them until you get a certain qualifications at sea, and then you can do what you want to do after that. So what I did was I joined this and finished my course, went on board ship, sailed for another 4 years, and I got married in 96. So my wife was expecting my son in 98, due in 98. So I said, enough, I quit. So I quit the shipping industry and I went into plantations in manufacturing. So I went to oil palm factories, working in oil palm factories.
At some point, the idea of sailing around the world took hold. How did that dream begin? And why choose such a dangerous east to west route?
So in 2019, I was passed over for promotion on my job. And I felt that's it. That was like the last straw. I said, enough of this. I want to go and do something else. Then I came to the club here and I was telling myself, looked around, I said, hey, all these sailors, they only seem to be sailing between Port Klang and Langkawi. That's about all they do. Most they go to Singapore, they go to Thailand, Phuket. So they're only along the Straits of Malacca. No one really looks at long distance sailing. Why? Okay, I already had destiny at that point. So I was thinking to myself, okay, why they don't do this? And I thought, could be a nice thing to sail around the world. So I started that. The thought process came, and then I researched a bit. I found out only the current Sultan of Selangor and Dato' Azhar had done it. So they're called circumnavigators. So only two. So, and both of them have different routes. So which means if I done something different, if I do something different, I'll be like, very famous Malaysian. So I was thinking, that'll be nice thing lah. So it was like, okay. So then I looked around and I said, I know the Sultan did it a different way, Azhar did it a different way. So I said, okay, I'm going to go via the Cape of Good Hope, and thus becoming the first Malaysian to do a reverse of Vasco da Gama. Because Vasco da Gama did it from Portugal. He went down the coast of West Africa, rounded the Cape of Good Hope, headed towards Mozambique, then Goa, and then eventually attacked Malacca. So that was his route. So I'm going the opposite. So I reverse of Vasco da Gama. So I said, oh, that would make me definitely become the first Malaysian to do it. So I said, okay, that's something I want to do. But this portion that I'm going to be sailing is a treacherous bit of sea, especially between Mozambique along the Madagascar Channel, or the Mozambique Channel, all the way around to Cape Town. That's one of the most treacherous parts of the oceans in the world, where you have got very big storms and sea conditions can be very adverse, that it can be risky. So that's why I attempted that route, and that's how I got to this.
Your boat Destiny 12 was originally a coastal vessel, am I right? To reinforce her for the demands of open ocean sailing. What did that preparation involve?
After I'd actually prepared the boat nearly 70-80%, I said I would do like a dry run kind of thing. The idea was to go around to circumnavigate Sumatra. That means you go down south, get into Batam, go down to the Sunda Straits, which is between Java and Sumatra, round it, come off the north of Sumatra and come back to Port Klang. So that was the plan. But when I attempted this, what happened was, as I headed south, there was a huge window of no wind off the west coast of Sumatra, almost 600 miles with no wind. So I thought to myself, if I go there when there's no wind, it'll effectively be running with the engine, which I don't want to. So I said, okay, that's not going to work. So I switched it, and I said, I'll go to Kuching. I'll go to East Malaysia, for instance. I tried that, but along the way, there was some breakages on the boat, and it forced me to turn back. So that was all the training that I had. Nothing else other than racing, which is short distance stuff. So I had not done anything beyond 300 miles or 400 miles, nothing. The most I'd been is up to Phuket.
Apart from those brief trial runs, was there anyone guiding you through this, like a mentor or an experienced sailor, or were you largely on your own?
You see, because nobody has done it. Okay, there were. I mean, like I told you, Sultan of Selangor and Azhar. They both did it differently. Sultan of Selangor was on a very much bigger yacht. He had a crew, a professional crew with him. So that's one. And he went up the Mediterranean. He didn't go around South Africa. Azhar Mansour did it in the Southern Ocean. That means all the areas below the tip of South America, the tip of South Africa, the bottom end of Tasmania, and the bottom end of South Island, New Zealand. So he's doing all at the bottom there. That's a different type of sailing again. So there's no expertise. In terms of your preparation, there is nobody I can speak to in the country who has that expertise. None, zero. So I had to, one, read, two, watch YouTube videos. But to be fair, YouTube videos are good for you to get an opening idea and like a spark aha moment to think of something, but they are not something you should believe is the gospel truth, because a lot of it is done for entertainment. I joined a cruising club based out of England, and they assigned me a mentor who has done around the world, and even he was telling me, hey, your boat's not very suitable for this. But I said, that's all the boat that I have. I mean, I can't go and just switch, oh, I want that boat. Of course, if I had unlimited amount of money, of course I can switch whatever I want. I want this, I want that. But you don't have that. So you need to do it with what you have. That's all you have, and you got to do it. But on a personal level, a lot of it was, it's mixed feelings. One, the biggest issue will be, you see, to embark on something like this, you need to finance it. I didn't seek any financing from external parties. I didn't go around looking for sponsors. I never did that. Because when you take a sponsor, means you got to follow their requirements. So I said, no, not me. I want to go at my own. So I never went out. So money was, and I mortgages to pay, kids to put through uni. So I had to settle all these things first, and save up money to buy all the gear that I need additional. So the whole process took 5-6 years.
Looks like even before your departure, it was a monumental task to push off. Was there any moment you nearly abandoned your plan or thought of quitting?
No. That's who I am. I feel that if I put my mind to something, which is why most of the people, there was like, I would say 99% of the people think I'm crazy. I think still a lot of people think I'm crazy to have done it. But now the difference is I've done it and I'm back. So they're not going to say it that. But before leaving, you have so much negativity around you. People all telling you that it cannot be done. Whatever reason. Oh, you're not good enough. The boat's not right. Oh, your character is not right, because I'm sort of a hot-tempered person. I can't imagine not having a crew and not shouting at them. So everything you could possibly imagine was being told to me. And that actually strengthened my resolve to make sure I can prove them wrong. I said no. My family would have approved it because they said that if you don't support him, he'll still go. So it's either, you support grudgingly, or you don't. You don't also, is still going to go. So it's better to just support. So eventually that was how it was working for me. I never, even the point when I told you I tried to go around Sumatra when there was a lot of failures and all that on the boat. To me, I thought of it as, look, I need to see these failures now, because it's better to fail now than when I actually attempt it. Because then I'm not in familiar areas where I can do repairs and reinforce things. I need it to be close by. So now, okay, I've done this. I said, okay, fine. Now, in my opinion, the boat's ready. I can go. So preparation-wise was very critical. So I just took the time to prepare for it. And you asked me whether I had any thoughts of not wanting to do it. Absolutely no. Once I put my mind to it, I'll finish it.
You've described this journey as more than physical, even spiritual. What changed in you out there at sea?
I said it's not a journey of simple just adventure. It's actually a spiritual journey. It's always been a spiritual journey for me. So as far back as I remember, when I was in the shipping days, when I was in the merchant marine, I remember a context when I was sitting out while we were in the ocean. I looked up and saw the sky. It was full of stars. All you landlubbers will never get this opportunity to see this because you have too much ambient light. And you have the whole sky with no clouds, just a myriad of lights, so many stars. You can't imagine it unless you see it. You can take photographs, we know it's a fake, it's being faked and all that, AI photographs, but can you imagine the stars all around you, and you don't even need to actually look to see a shooting star. It just happens. It's like everywhere, you see shooting stars. It just shows how small you are. So I got that like a bug that had already bitten me to show how small I was when I was back in the shipping. That was 30 years ago. But I couldn't replicate it. So I knew that, if maybe I go sailing this time, maybe I'll be able to replicate that feeling again. And I knew also, after I left my job, is for the first time in my life, I don't have a professional goal at the end of my whatever I'm doing. I mean, in my earlier career, I want to go up the ladder. There was a professional goal. You want to get material stuff that you want to improve on, buy bigger house, bigger car, everything. Now I had nothing. So for me, I had no light at the end of the tunnel.
I believe you had long stretches alone with the ocean. Did you experience any moment of clarity or revelation?
I had a lot of signs. In fact, I would say, of course, in hindsight, when I look back, I know for a fact that there was a message being sent to me. It's just that I never heard. What I call the white noise, because regardless of how many times you pray a day, how much scripture you read, you are disturbed too much. There's too much things going around you. So I believe this was in the making. I'll give you an example. My house is closer to OLL, but I chose not to get the priest from OLL to come and bless the vessel. He might throw me out because he wouldn't recognize me since I don't go to church that much in OLL. So I said, okay, how do I get a priest to come and do some blessings before my journey? So I said, okay, I don't know this priest in St. Anne. I've never been there. I said, okay, I'll go and catch the priest. So I went to the parish house, met the priest. Say, Father, can you come and, because I'm attempting this, can you just come and say a blessing and bless the boat and its occupants? So I said, okay. So I picked him up from St. Anne's and brought him to the club. At that time, he spoke to me of Paul. There is a zillion things that you can pick out from the Bible, but yet he chose to speak about Paul, which to me at that point was like, it was just, he's telling me a story about Paul. It never hit me. Why? But I believe later on now, after all the events that has happened in my journey, I realized it was all already being foretold. It was already planned. God had already known what He wanted to tell me, but I just never listened.
You mentioned the Apostle Paul. Well, if I remember correctly, in the Acts of the Apostles, Paul survives a shipwreck on his way to Rome. Did you face moments of chaos at sea or something that tested your faith in a similar way?
I chose to sail the Pacific alone. The whole journey from Panama all the way to Fiji was alone, because I felt something needs to happen. I want to be alone. I don't want to have anybody with me. So my longest ocean stretch was between Ecuador and French Polynesia, 32 days at sea with nobody around at all. And in that time, there was an event that occurred at night when I had 5 storms, and eventually at one point I thought I would die because it was very bad seas. At that point, and when it happened and I was safe, I felt the situation improved after a bit of prayers. I felt that was a defining moment of my journey, because God chose to show me that He wanted me alive for a purpose. And then I knew for certain what my purpose was. After this, the purpose was to give back to society. Society meaning it is not Christian based, it's society in general. And after that event, I could see a lot of things that had happened to me before that were signs. One, I understood why Father David was talking to me about the Apostle Paul. So when this happened in the Pacific Ocean, I realized I need to give back. I need to share my story. On the spiritual side, I need to share this story with as many people as possible, because I am alive here sitting and talking to you now, Kevin, because He chose to keep me alive. And why did He choose to keep me alive? Because now I know I have to give back to society. I need to return back. It's no more about all these assets that we tend to dwell on, that say that makes who we are. Those things can't take us 6 feet underground. We can't take any of that and go. Society needs to hear that life is not about all these things that we are looking at, material stuff. Immaterial, you need to have money. I didn't say we don't need money, but it shouldn't be the one that is guiding you and leading you on.
We'll come back to your future plans of giving back before we conclude. But along the way, you met many people from different cultures and countries. What did those encounters teach you?
Okay, you see, in the sailing community is very something that we all should look forward. You see, like I give you a lot of examples. When I was sailing, this is something recently when I was in Panama, for instance. I met this guy, he's an American, a solo sailor like me at that time. And I said, hey, can you help me to check my mast? He has only met me and spoken to me maybe 2 times. So I said, okay, I'll come and help you. Then one of it actually entailed me climbing up the mast. Someone would lift me up, and then I would inspect all the joints and things like that. I went up to the 2nd level, which is almost 2/3 of the way up. I was super scared. I said, hey, this is like too high for me. I'm starting to get nervous. So I told him, I said, no, hey, Hartwell, you better bring me down. That's my friend's name, Hartwell. I said, hey, Hartwell, can you climb up the mast for me and do all these inspections? Because he's a sailor, you know what to look for. I said, okay. He did it. Second, I was approaching a place in Cook Islands, and it's basically in a very narrow channel, probably about 10 meters wide, and I was solo. So basically you have to go in the small channel, get onto the open area on the other side of the channel, where you need to drop anchor and then reverse the boat and tie it to the back. Now, being solo, I can't do all those things. So I radioed the guys in the island, a lot of other sailboats, all of whom I have never met. I just know them because they were there and they picked up the call. And there are Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups there. So I just messaged them and asked for help. People came. They jumped on my boat. One guy went in front, 2 guys on land to pick up the lines, everything. They did it. And I also did the same for other boats that were coming. The moment someone called, I just go. Whether it was French, Japanese, Indian, Chinese, inconsequential. We know someone need help, we go. So that is a attitude, sadly, that we do not have these days. Ask yourself, how many people would go and help even their neighbor? Let's be real. And to me, that community should be how we as a society should be living. Because No one cared whether I was Indian, Chinese, or Japanese, or Korean, or Malay, or Arab, or anything. They just came, jumped on your boat, came and did this, did. I tell you, hey, can you help me? Straight people come. How many times do we face our daily lives when we actually find people like this? We don't.
Take us back to the moment you sailed into Port Klang in October last year after you completed your mission. And after 2.5 years, what did you feel? What was the reception like?
I had the Raja Muda of Selangor come to receive me, and I had like 12 or 13 boats with me, bringing me in like a flotilla, guiding me. I mean, like they were just following me at the back, you know. So there was a big hoo-ha in the club. The Raja Muda of Selangor is coming. So that in itself attracts a lot of media, a lot of people. So the whole clubhouse was filled. And contrast that with when I left, there was only 20 of us, my family and my closest friends. That's it. The reception here was like massive. So to me, I told myself, even if the Raja Muda did not come or anything, the fact that I returned after finishing this, I only wanted to see the 20 people that saw me off, because they were people that actually supported me, because they were there from day one. They said, oh, you know, you're going to do it, okay, we will support you, we will come and see you off. These are the people that I want to see. So to me, the greatest feeling was getting back and tying back in the same spot that I left 2.5 years ago. This boat left out there, came back where it was. And to me, that satisfaction of completing it is something I cannot put it in words. It's just something amazing. I mean, to do something when everybody thought you cannot do it. Plus, I can tell you, that's why I say 99.9% people think I'm crazy. They say I couldn't do it. But the fact is now I've done it and I'm back here. I mean, it's a feeling that I remember when Raja Muda of Selangor asked me, as soon as he got down off the boat onto the pontoon, his first question to me was, Fabian, so how do you feel now? I was going, so I said, after a while, I said, Tongku, I think you asked me this, I cannot answer you, because I myself now don't have a lot of emotions, so I could not find the words for me to say it. So I was sort of overwhelmed. At that time, I was just doing nothing coming out of my mouth. Before that, I could have been scolding people, getting angry with someone, and all. The moment I put my foot and he asked me this question, cannot talk, dumbfounded, like somebody who's got some, you know, I couldn't finish a sentence. I didn't even get one word out. All the other, that's all. So it's just overwhelming.
Now that you're home, you've spoken about giving back and sharing your story. What does that look like? And is another voyage on the horizon?
Now I did this is very critical. I know I've done it, and I've become the very few in the whole region, to be fair. I'm talking about the whole of Asia, and more than 3 billion people. I'm in a very small number who have done it. So I can say that it's a bit heavy on me, but now I'm more focused on what I need to do, which is to do my speaking arrangements, to spread my belief or whatever I can impart to others. And the fact there is a little bit of another small fire burning inside me to do another trip, but not with my current boat, but with another boat. I'll have to look at seeing how to get it and to do something that very less Malaysians or any people around the world have done. The route that I'm thinking of will actually take me around the Northwest Passage in the US, right down Antarctic. So you basically go the whole circle around the Americas, and Northwest Passage has only about 400 people plus, less than 500 people in history who have crossed it. We're not talking about Malaysians or Britishers or Americans or whatever. You're talking about in the whole of our humanity's history, there's less than 500 people who have done it. And I think that is something that if God wills it for it to happen, it will happen, and I want to do that. But again, I don't have what it needs now in terms of the funds, the requirement, all those things. So I don't have it. So it is there, but it's not burning now yet. It's just like a small fire. The fire now in me is to actually spread this word that I know what has happened to me, to tell people what has happened to me. That's the fire that is burning now. It's something that I have to do. So if one door doesn't open, I'll open another. And I keep trying until I succeed.
Wonderful. Fabian Fernandez, circumnavigator, adventurer, and witness to the power of God's call. Thank you for joining us. We wish you all the best. And if you want to meet Fabian in person, if you have any questions for him, he'll be at the Church of St. Anne in Port Klang giving a talk on the 1st of March. Yes, lovely. So, go there, see him, tell your family and friends about it, bring the whole group, and go and meet Fabian Fernandez. And I hope to see you there too. That's our episode. If you'd like to listen to more of these conversations, hit the like and subscribe. I'm Kacang Kevin, and I'll be back for another episode on Herald Voices. God bless.